doing basically the same thing for 7 different companies. So that makes it a lot easier on me. Last year when I did this, I had 7 different projects. So I was like, okay, you guys are doing process redesign, you guys are doing market entry. So now it's always the same type of project, so it makes it a lot easier for me. So I'm having a lot more fun. Yeah.
So you're having
Yeah.
my people that I've taught in the last couple of years.
No.
Okay, hey everybody. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Nice group here, everybody. Thanks for being here. This is the IDEAcorps MBA Consulting Challenge in 2026. We've been doing this program for a very long time, and we're excited to have such an awesome group of students and founders here today to be a part of all this. If you're new to this, or if you're just a friend visiting, or if you're here as part of New Orleans Entrepreneur Week, the IDEAcorps MBA Consulting Challenge, as it is known, is a program that pairs founders from our region with MBA students and talent from all over the country. So including our own Loyola and Tulane right next door, we have 10 universities here today to pitch scaling strategies for the founders they've been paired with. They've worked for the last 6 weeks to meet with these founders, build these strategies, work through challenges, work through problems, and to make sure that each founder has a strategy that can help them scale by at least 50% over the next 18 months. That's hard to do. So these teams are the best talent in the whole country, in my opinion, and have put these strategies together. So we're excited for that. So thank you, welcome. We're excited to have y'all here. Let me push my button. So these are our 10 teams, right? We've got the Culverhouse College of Business at the University of Alabama. We've got Auburn University's Harbert College of Business, DePaul University's Kellstadt Graduate School of Business. I hope I found the right logo for that. LSU's Flores MBA program, LMU out in Loyola Marymount, out in LA with their Fred Kaiser Entrepreneurship Center. Our own Loyola College of Business, go Wolfpack, hell yeah. We've got the Morgan State University, Graves College of Business, Southeastern University from up on the North Shore, good friends from just down the street, LePage Center from Tulane next door, and WashU from St. Louis in Missouri, my hometown. How about that? Great group of students this year. We've had a blast the last few days showing them all the amazing hotspots for innovation here in New Orleans. Yesterday we went on a really cool tour all day that showcased the renovations to the Superdome. We got to go on the truckway back behind the port, which was really neat, and saw some, the cranes were like actually moving stuff off one of those container ships. We had a blast. It was fun. And then wrapped the day at NOLA Brewing for a really cool work and tech event with GNO Inc. This whole event is not possible without folks like GNO Inc. and some of our partners throughout the city that help us do these sorts of things and showcase the amazing city that New Orleans is. So we hope that all of our MBA teams had a great time these last few days as we have visited New Orleans. Thank you guys for being here. They've been paired with these 10 founders from across our region. Excuse me. Those are Autodive, Brah Skincare, Gigs, Harmonic Biosciences, Inservice, Pursuit of Happiness Farms, Sinko Labs, Sunfish, Who's Live, and Zokio. We have a really great smattering of founders this year, everything from climate tech to culture tech to some CPGs that really help make things happen for our community. So very excited about this year's group of founders. Round of applause for them because they're all killing it. Yeah. This program is really interesting because we get such a diverse group of founders that get to work with just students with perspectives from all over the country. I had a conversation with one of our founders before this program started this year about how the, excuse me, I'm getting a phone call and my phone will not stop vibrating. I meant to put it on Do Not Disturb, I apologize. I met with one of our founders before this program started this year as they were applying to hopefully be a part of it, and they were working with climate tech, and they were particularly interested in the fact that some of these students are coming from a place that is near water, but is not near our water, right? Just giving them a different perspective on how they're actually working through these challenges. And that's the whole goal here, I hope, right? Well, not I hope, that is the whole goal, yes. So thank you to all of these founders that have worked with us for the last 6 weeks. It is just as much a challenge for our founders, I think, as it is for our teams. I have a hard time letting go of things, as my team knows, and I know that some of these founders likely have that same problem as a founder. So cheers to all of y'all for being a part of this and being open to all of this. Yeah, thank you. We've got 6 amazing judges this year. Usually we only have 3 or 4, but everybody I asked said yes. So that's a good thing. We've got Damian Clark from Propeller, Eric Delgado, co-founder of Izinga, Jane Cooper, founder of Grand Cru Abroad, We also have Megan McCormick, the CEO of the St. Bernard Economic Development Foundation, Jay Miguez, who has so many titles that I didn't know exactly what to put up here, and then Olivia Scott, who is the founder at Emerge Alliances. Got a great panel up here today. I'm very excited to have all 6 of you here. Thank you all for saying yes to this. That is surprisingly harder to find 6 people to say yes to these things than you think. So thank you all so much for being here. We've got a lot of prize money that we're going to give out today as well, plus these cool light-up statues. First place, the founder walks away with a check for $20,000 to continue to apply this strategy to their business model. It's a pretty nice chunk of change to walk away with from today. That MBA team that has worked with that founder will also walk away with $5,000 to split between their MBAs. Nice little hunk of money there. Congratulations. Both of those folks will get one of those light-up trophies as well. Careful with those light bulbs. One of them broke the other day, so just be careful. They're LEDs, so they don't get hot, but be careful. Our runners-up will get $2,000 per each. 2 runners-up will get $2,000 for their company client, and $1,500 for the MBA programs. So all in all, about $33,000 will be given out today, as well as those cool light-up trophies, which I'm so proud of finding. So that is the IDEAcorps MBA Consulting Challenge. Our teams will have 5 minutes to pitch and about 2 minutes for questions. So we keep things rolling pretty quickly here. Our judges already know this. We'll have a hard stop at 5 minutes for the pitch. Teams will have possibly a little more than those 2 minutes for the questions. Teams will get to fully answer the last question they were asked within that 2-minute period. Before we get started, I want to see if our dean, Bobby Sabon, wanted to say hello to anybody. He does not have to, but we're glad to have him here. Hello, everybody. There we go. We're grateful for Bobby, and he and Miss Lori are generous sponsors and donors for this program that allow this to happen. And he's also our dean, which rules. So that's awesome. On that note, we're going to get started. So our first team will be pitching on behalf of Cesar Beccaro with gigs. So please welcome to the stage.
All right. Good afternoon, New Orleans. Good afternoon. All right. So we're so excited to be here. We are a part of the Blue Demon consulting team from DePaul University, representing the great city of Chicago. Not only are we representing Chicago, we're also here to represent gigs, and we're introducing the ambassador program. So before we get into the ins and outs of what gigs, the ambassador program, we're going to talk about what gigs is and what gigs does. So we're here in New Orleans, as we know. On any given night, there's about 50 venues looking to employ live talent. What Gigs does is they provide a centralized location via app to provide that necessary infrastructure for artists to find venues and for venues to find artists. Prior to the formation of Gigs, there was a challenge. Norbert, can you tell us a little bit more about that challenge?
Absolutely. So what is the challenge that Gigs is here to solve? So like was stated, it is very difficult for musicians to find venues and for venues to find musicians. On top of that, communication is scattered all over the place. You'll have communications over email, text message, Instagram DMs, and then financials as well. It could be over PayPal, in person. And what Gigs is here to do is to provide one centralized platform to do all of that. And now we're going to talk about our ambassador program.
Thank you, Norbert. So to scale, we're going to be launching the Gigs Ambassador Program. Through university students who are embedded in the community, the goal is simple: to build community trust, but also to sustainable revenue. Right. So to start off this program, we're going to start with 10 ambassadors. 10 of these ambassadors with the goal to 1, activation, 2, to onboard, but 3, also to transition. Now, each of these ambassadors will be compensated with $100 every month. Also, $5 bonus pay for everybody that they could get, every artist or venue they could get on the app. Also, there's also the fun part. They could get swag and go to the shows as well. This whole program will be monitored by a regional level manager whose job is just performance evaluation and to maintain this relationship between gigs, the artists, and the venues. Now, how is this going to work? How much is it going to cost? Didar, let us know.
Great question, Ozzy. Thank you. So we have run through the numbers for the upcoming 18 months, from March 2026 till September 2027 to be precise. And we found out that during that time frame, Gigs currently has a budget for sales support with around $56,000. And the ambassador program will cut costs by $21,000. And we're expecting to see more than 1,500 new subscriptions in the app with that time frame. Now, Gigs currently has two different revenue models. One, $50 subscription fee from venues monthly, and two, 5% commission cut from artists per bookings, which we expect to be around $106 per month per artist in the long run. Now, when we funnel these two different models in, we're expecting an increase in revenue sales by 15-fold in that indicated time frame. When it comes to our cost of acquisitions and margins, we're expecting a investment for sales support for around $120,000. And our kickoff costs will be around $10,000. With all of our costs combined, we will only be using less than 30% of this investment. So our financial analysis suggests that our ambassador program will have a cost of $1,750, which will be a fixed cost monthly. And EBITDA is expected to reach $315,000 with margins rising up to 53% by September 2027. And from that point moving forward, we're only expecting exponential growth. So the ambassador program cuts costs today and is scalable for the future. Thank you very much for your time.
If you have any questions, I'll be taking Q&A.
Talk to me about what the pitch between the ambassador and the artist is that makes this interesting to them, the artist, because $5 to motivate them, the pitch has got to be pretty compelling to get the artist to join, right? So give me a sense of what that pitch is.
The pitch for the artist is that there is no more fragmented communication. It's one area to deal with, and your payments are actually coming directly from there. When you book through the app, it carries all of that information, and all of that communication stays in the one place. So you don't have to talk to someone else to actually get the gig. And then when you actually go, figure out whoever else is running around and then who you got to get paid from. It all happens inside a closed loop inside the app.
Thank you all so much. It's very impressive to sort of tackle the culture economy here in New Orleans because it's definitely pivotal to the economy. My question is, how are you all preventing oversaturation of musicians? Like, how are y'all like stopping oversaturation of so many artists getting on the app so they could be chosen for those gigs? Like, how are y'all stopping that?
So we have implemented a bunch of operational things to actually fix anything between scammers or people trying to use bots or things of that nature. But this specifically is targeting the venues and the artists that those venues are always looking for. So you're keeping it inside the same culture. You can look and view and look around for other things, but mostly this is for that particular interaction directly between the venue and the artist. If people want to get on the app, if they're never actually used, it's not something you're going to see because you actually have to go find the artist you're looking for to be able to hire that particular artist.
One last question, I think. Your pictures look like New Orleans, but is that where you would really launch this, or do you have a different market in mind?
No. New Orleans is where we're launching, and our second market we're looking at is Atlanta.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great timing. That's Thanks, guys. Awesome. Excellent stuff. See, we keep it moving here. It's nice. We'll give our judges just a moment to finish scoring each team as our next team hands out some fun samples. All right. Nothing better than a free sample. I got it. I'll hand it to you. Oh, Mike's too. Hold on. Let me roll that, Mike's. All right. Got everybody there? Excellent. All right. Well, we're going to keep moving. Up next is a founder from the North Shore, Hillary Wells, with Brah. Team, take it away.
Good afternoon. We are WashU, and we are representing Brah. Brah Skincare is a specialized skincare company for athletic men ages 20 through 40.
With over 12 years leading retail strategy, our founder, Hillary Wells DeMarco, has built partnerships all across 50 states. While she focuses on scaling retail, our goal has been to help build strong lifetime value on the D2C side through early customer retention.
To note, Brah is a pretty new company. So when we first got this whole thing started, we wanted to make sure we developed some really good market research to understand the whole market and wrap our head around what actually is out there. From this, we moved to a data analytics process where we looked at Shopify for the products currently being sold, as well as meta analytics. We then did a customer survey where we interviewed over 50 different consumers, aged 20 to 40, all in that active range. With all the information collected, we were able to plot Brah on the competition map, proving that they're in a good spot and really paving the road for our strategy.
Looking at the data analytics, the business is performing very well with margins, 85% on most of the products, and there's room to work here. However, at CAC at around $125 with $63 of LTV has negative unit economics. This is mostly due to a 5.3% retention rate, which is caused by most of the buyers being women, actually, one-time gift purchases for their significant other. And so what the men told us, most of the survey was actually focused on the website. They found the website very distracting and hard to navigate, and they were kind of unsure of what the product really was.
Hey, so the first step of our solving the problem is actually rebuilding the foundation of the DTC website, which is sort of making it more masculine, a lot easier to quickly purchase an item. And then we retargeted a lot of the Instagram and Facebook ads to actually reach out to the 20 and 40-year-old athletic men, where in our survey we found that their Instagram ads and stuff didn't really resonate perfectly. And then the machine that's actually going to drive all this change is going to be that we're going to implement a subscription model to this, and that's going to drive recurring revenue and increase our lifetime value of all our customers. So here's the website as it is right now, and you can kind of see that there's a lot moving on, or a lot of moving parts, and it's kind of difficult to get all the way through it and buy something quickly and sort of impulsively, which is what we want. And so what we've done is sort of change the website to something a little cleaner, simpler, more masculine, and we made the default option for purchasing the subscription model because that is going to increase our lifetime value through the roof. And so here's one of the Instagram ads that we have here. And one of the feedbacks we heard is you can't really tell what's being sold here. So we transitioned to this form on the left here with this kind of advertisement where you see everything, and then each of the items actually say what it does on there and everything. And so we thought that was important for our advertising. And so with the subscriptions, if you buy a single item, you subscribe to get it on a recurring basis, you're going to get a flat 25% off. And since we have those large margins, we have some room to deal with that and use it as a currency. And if you bundle a bunch of different products and get those on a recurring basis, you can get up to 40% off. And that's obviously going to raise retention, lifetime value, and it's going to slowly grow our user base while dramatically dropping our effective cost of acquiring a new customer.
So we focused on unit economics since it's very early stage startup. So what we did is we plotted 18 months revenue targeted from month 1, which the revenue was $200, and at month 8 you can see that revenue is reaching to $10,000 monthly dollars, and in month 11 we are gonna be having positive unit economics, which will drive down the CAC from $125 to less than $65 and increase the LTV from $63 to $200.
And so how are we going to use the funds if we win today? It's basically going to be entirely into hiring a new part-time employee that is fluent in website DTC management, content creation, and sort of being able to run the subscription side of it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Then we can split up any questions depending on what the topic's on.
Good job, guys. Good job. What school again? Washington. All right, cool. Awesome. Look, I think anybody who's in the biohacking industry or like the longevity business, I've got clients all over the place that are doing it, and they're just crushing it. What's interesting is the male version and attacking that market is critical. Comment then a question. What you did with that Instagram, I think was brilliant. Why do you think you stopped at the age of 40? Because I'm 50 and I spend a ton of money. Actually, I don't spend any money. I spend a ton of money on trying to look younger, feel younger. So why did you guys cap it at 40, do you think?
So the basis of this brand is supposed to be, or the branding approach is humor and comedy based. And with a name like Brah, it's kind of a millennial younger, like, Brah, why are you doing dumb stuff? You know, like, it's just, that's part of who we're targeting. I agree that we could expand it to 50 because you're right, there's a lot of money spent there.
Yeah, it's like a $10 billion industry for sure.
Awesome job. With so much saturation in this market right now, I mean, I feel like everyone's getting into skincare. How do you, outside of doing a rebrand, how do you expect to stand out? I know you're planning on spending a lot of money working on the direct-to-consumer website, investing in, TikTok and Instagram ads and social media. But other than that, what do you plan to do to stand out?
So I can take that one. With our brand perception map, we saw that many of the competitors, there are other brands that focus on men. However, not many of them are specifically focusing athletic men and gym goers. Really, that the ones that go to the gym, that care about what's in their product, they care about looking good. And if you want to go to the like second to last slide in the appendix, so part of the strategy for the hire, next back one, is expanding into very specific apps, like as you can see, Strava, JFit, and Nike Run Club. Through Google Ads and targeting those men very specifically. As far as we could tell, there was no other brand that was doing this.
Thank you. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll take those. Thank you, guys. Excellent work. Appreciate you guys. All right. So one of the things I love about this competition is that we get a really interesting group of schools down here. Folks that haven't been here before, folks that have been here before, that are working with clients and companies that are doing things for New Orleans and for our region. This next team is going for the three-peat this year. And I'm very excited to see what they have come up with. We have here at Loyola as a Jesuit school, we like to work with our fellow Jesuit friends. So please welcome to the stage Loyola Marymount University pitching for Autodive.
We are incredibly proud to be serving locally sourced oysters from Brightside Farms. And what you may not know is this is actually pretty rare. Today, about 80% of the oysters consumed in the U.S. are imported, which raises an obvious question. Why hasn't the domestic production kept up with the demand? To get a better understanding, we began by listening to the farmers themselves. We used machine learning and natural language processing, and we found that the main issues that were preventing an increase in the productivity are unpredictability of storms and high labor turnover. This is where our client Autodive comes in. Autodive was created by Chris, a scuba diver and engineer that spent 10 years developing the technology, and later joined by Steven, an oyster farmer that understands the pain points in the industry. And together, they created a technology that is revolutionizing the oyster farming industry.
To understand the benefits of Autodive, we have to start with where the industry is today. Currently, oysters are grown in steel cages floating on the surface. Each cage, weighing up to 300 pounds, has to be manually flipped and serviced up to 4 times a week and has a constant risk from storms. Also, oysters are not fully submerged, limiting the conditions for optimal growth. Autodive condenses 30 cages onto a single platform controlled from shore. No more manual flipping, and oysters are fully submerged to maximize growth. Remote depth control also fully solves the storm problem because farmers can simply lower the platform deeper in the water, keeping their equipment and products safe. When we first met Autodive, the goal was simple: identify the most important problem preventing them from scaling. Autodive believed that the problem was that the farmers needed to see to believe, but a single platform cost $300,000. So their focus was on securing investors and grants to achieve initial deployment. But when we started to talk to farmers directly, we realized something unexpected. The demand was already there, and farmers were willing to pay us now. This shifted everything. Rather than focusing on investment, we discovered that we could use real sales revenue to begin manufacturing. If we could get enough farmer commitments, we could prove demand and begin manufacturing.
In fact, we did that. We did that with an outreach approach by sending out surveys to oyster farmers. We wanted to better understand their needs and also create a future pipeline of clients in the U.S. We focused on 3 major aquaculture regions: the West Coast, the East Coast, and the Gulf Coast. From these insights, we learned the challenges that farmers face. We also built relationships and created an early demand for Autodive. And over the last 6 weeks, we went from 0 to a total of 8 signed letters of intent. And with this, we created Autodive's legacy pilot program to validate the platform under real farming conditions. We worked with experienced oyster farmers to showcase that Autodive helps improve daily operations, lowers risk, and also increases efficiency overall. The program also helps, supports, and create data to broaden the commercialization of the industry for oysters.
Like a typical startup hardware company, Autodive requires a large upfront capital. However, by restructuring the cash flow schedule, we allowed the revenue to align with the production milestone model. This is the Autodive Impact Calculator. It's a tool we created for farmers to see potential gains and losses being left on the table. Farmers can play with assumptions and really personalize their farm to the Autodive technology. With the $20,000, we plan to use it on strategic demonstration events, inviting aquaculture operators and farmers for them to see the technology in action and answer any questions they might have by turning curiosity into early adopters. The financial projections are over an 18-month timeline, showcasing the pilot program being scaled into a full-sized commercialized operation, and we could see in Q3 revenue increases and cost of goods decrease over time.
Now that Autodive is ready to go to market, how do we ensure that it has a clear brand identity and mission that farmers can trust? We recommended a strategic rebrand and realignment, developing a new mission and vision statement. This revamp is meant to humanize the technology, showing that Autodive isn't replacing farmers but enhancing what they already do. By bringing farmers' voices into the conversation and highlighting industry realities, we build relationships, community, while also building brand awareness. We do this through 3 channels: Instagram to provide visual storytelling, a rebranded website, and LinkedIn to engage directly with industry professionals. A content calendar will also be implemented to continue momentum. Oyster farming isn't just a business. It's long days on the water, unpredictable weather, and constant risk. Autodive has the opportunity to make this work more efficient, sustainable, and safer. Our CEO said something that validated our work, that this is the closest that Autodive has ever felt to being ready to go to market. By helping farmers succeed, we help build a stronger, more resilient future for ocean farming. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Oh, perfect. Really impressive. I work in St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana, where we're right on the Gulf Coast, and we have a number of commercial fishermen and fisher people who would love to hear about something like this. But I'll tell you, in my experience working in St. Bernard, it's a really insular community, and at least our commercial fishermen are very... They've been doing it, it's not just an opportunity for them to be entrepreneurs, but it's their livelihood. It's something that they were raised into, born into, and they can be a little bit shut off. So I'm curious how you're reaching this community and how you were able to get 8 people to sign on to something like this, and how you translate your messaging to them. Because I think the uncertainty is real. It certainly has an impact, and it's a great technology, but I know that they can be a little bit closed off when you present an idea that seems a little bit too good to be true.
So we actually have the benefit of the fact that our founders have spent over 10 years in the industry. Our CEO is actually a former oyster farmer, and they've spent 10 years developing the technology in conjunction with other farmers. Because we actually initially thought that was going to be the same problem too, but it turns out they've had farmers like begging to give them money for multiple years. So we pretty much just leveraged the connections and relationships we've already had. Because we pretty much determined it was a confidence issue on Autodive's part, because they actually had demand already. So we pretty much just leveraged the connections that they already had.
Awesome. And they're definitely going to these conferences, or because I guarantee you the people that I work with are probably not at those conferences, but they would really benefit from something like this. So I just want to make sure that you're, being inclusive about how you reach oyster fishermen.
Our company is actually primarily based in New England. We would like to expand into these other areas, but from the 10 commitments we have, the goal is to throw an event based in that area around like an assembly of something. And so we actually, for our 10 LOIs, it's just 1 unit per customer. But to fully transition farmers, it'd be 30 to 60 units per farmer. So we're going to focus primarily on expanding sales with our existing customers while simultaneously kind of signing new people. Because the goal is to, again, kind of prove the product, get data from these early adopters to kind of expand into full commercial sales later on.
Thank you.
Good job. Can you walk us through what is the cost to an oyster fisherman? If I'm one of your pilots, what am I going to pay? I know you had a slide on return on investment, but how does the money actually work?
So it's going to be $100,000 or $100,000 out the door for the unit. They will have to pay for their own shipping, and then also assembly is a little bit of a nominal fee, but the goal is just $100,000 for right now.
Do you have a staffing plan beyond the 2 executives there?
We do not. As of right now, it's just going to be them. We have an outside manufacturer, so we're not overly concerned about that. And kind of, as she mentioned, the relationships aspect is really important. So we considered hiring an outside salesperson. We just don't think, like with the clientele, that someone who's not in the industry is going to be able to connect with them the way our current founders can.
Similarly to Jane's question.
Oh. Awesome. Nice work, guys. Let me get to the next slide here and schmooze for a second. Ooh. Is that right? Did I put that in the right order? I sure did. I got that in the wrong order. Hold on. All right, I somehow flipped my order on this, so I'm going to give this, I'm going to flip over to Southeastern up next with Sunfish. Apologies on the confusion there, guys. I had the order wrong, and I'm not sure how I did that. One of the great things about this program is that we're working with entrepreneurs who know how to pivot. just like our students who are pitching right now, because I told them the wrong order of the deck, and that is on me. So let me grab you guys some mics. Remy's got it. Thank you. And the clicker. There we go. Awesome. And that is that. Thanks, guys.
Hello. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We had the amazing opportunity to work with Sunfish. My name is Savvy. Some of my amazing colleagues, Elizabeth, Emily, and Diesel. We're going to play for you guys a tragic clip of something that happened in NOLA just a few weeks ago. What you're seeing here is an 84-year-old water pipe burst right on St. Claude, flooding the streets, devastating our community, as well as the businesses surrounding it. And just last night, we also had a water pipe burst in Uptown, flooding those streets so much so you can ride a kayak through it. Judges, beneath every city are structures that are often left unseen, aging, and forgotten. And when these systems fail, well, they impact our communities, our livelihoods, and the public's trust. Not because engineers didn't care, it's simply because we could not see what was happening right below the surface. And this is where Sunfish comes in. Sunfish builds autonomous underwater vehicles able to operate in extreme, hard-to-reach environments. They collect high-resolution data and map out these critical underwater infrastructures so that cities like New Orleans can identify risks and repair them before they become costly failures. It is a service-based contract where they charge per mile basis to collect and map these infrastructures, and it's a $4.6 billion industry that we're targeting. Before Sunfish, it meant human divers, human inspections, which meant higher safety risk, high operational costs, and incomplete data. With Sunfish, we're 96% faster, 60% cheaper, and fully autonomous.
Sunfish's main problem that we saw was Sunfish not clearly communicating who Sunfish is, what makes them different from competitors, any proof of performance, and a clear path for buyers in the future. These next two slides, I'll be showing you screenshots of Sunfish's website and their competitors, Deep Trekker. As you can see, when a customer enters Sunfish's website, all we see is what an AUV is. We do not get an About Us page where we get to learn more about the company and their values. This is their competitor, Deep Trekker. Deep Trekker has an amazing header filled with any and all possible questions a customer should have. They include videos on their products so that we get to learn more about who they are and what their product is. As you saw, Sunfish's main problem was their digital marketing. So as a digital marketing major, I created a 10-page marketing plan that Sunfish gets to follow. And
how we're going to implement that marketing plan is by utilizing a summer marketing intern, in which our CEO, Alberto, has already started doing. This intern will implement that marketing plan. They will start updating all social medias, as well as aligning a clear message to our consumers.
With these marketing changes, we expect a 100% increase in qualified website leads, a 20 to 30% increase in demo requests, as well as a 15 to 25% increase in closed contracts. This will all lead to a 55% annual revenue growth, as well as $1 million in revenue. On the other side of marketing, our CEO Alberto is dealing with all of the sales himself. This is creating a huge bottleneck in time, manpower, as well as missed opportunities. We recommend hiring 2 sales development representatives, or SDRs, that have SLED-specific experience. Their job will be come in, start the sales funnel, and Alberto's main priority will be to close those contracts. With these 2 hires, we expect an increase of 8% in their conversion rates, 30-plus leads a month, as well as a 150% annual revenue growth. Again, all with just 2 hires. In the next 6 months, we start from hiring and launching to full pipeline stability, which is going to bring scalable growth for Sunfish.
To reiterate, we're improving the website to improve communication towards the customers and to give them a more clear path about Sunfish. And we're hiring the sales reps to target customers more directly and aggressively with the information they will bring in, as opposed to the more wait for them to come to us approach Sunfish had previously. And then here is the 18-month ROI. We're projecting them to earn $4.09 million and have their customer acquisition cost go down from $200,000 to $50,000, and the ROI to be around 470%. And then at the end of year 3, we project them to be at $6.6 million, customer acquisition cost going down another $20,000, and the ROI going up to 774%. And then here is an illustration of the ROI over the 3 years.
You might be wondering how we're going to fund these strategies. Well, we expect to use 16% of their revenues from last year to fund around a $100,000 cost of a base salary for $100,000 for our sled reps, as well as around $5,000 to improve that website. And of course, commission, which we'll be absorbing through our high margins of 57%. Judges, this analogy is this: the demand is there. It simply relies on our ability to reach the cities that need it the most. Thank you.
Thank you. What is your average revenue per customer? So you have pretty lofty revenue goals in 3 years. What is an average revenue per customer?
$330,000.
Okay, thank you.
So you had a 100% website conversion goal. Tell me more about that. Where did that come from? That's very, very lofty.
Yes, so we got that from studies that we found done by Adobe, as well as studies done by McKinsey, as well as just industry standards that we've researched. Yes, ma'am.
In that case, nice work, guys.
Well, thank you all.
Sorry about that, again, to our teams for me being a chump and getting them in the wrong order. And somebody walked off with my button. Who walked off with my button? Who's got the button? It's okay. Like I said, we like to pivot. We're having a good time. Thank you. No, excellent. Great appendix. Once Farrah grabs our scores, like I said a little bit ago, we have a really great, really diverse group of companies this year. We have, as you've seen, a couple of really great climate tech companies that are working with some actual deep tech, I like to call it, because it's actually in the ocean. That's a dad joke, sorry. As well as CPGs and community and culture-based tech as well. This year, we also have a few new schools. You already saw DePaul earlier. They pitched for the first time here at IDEAcorps this year. And our next team is also here for the first time as well. So, judges, you guys good? Fair, you got the scores? Great. So with that, I'd like to welcome Morgan State University pitching for Who's Live up next. Come on up, guys.
It's summer break and your grandchild is over for the weekend. When we were kids, we went outside, we played with our friends, we just explored the neighborhood. But today, kids open their tablet and watch live videos with thousands of others. That's live streaming, a $140 billion global industry. Millions tune in each and every day to watch creators broadcast games, conversations, and sports in real time. But there's one major problem. Viewers struggle to find streams that they care about, and creators struggle to be discovered without spending heavily on promotion.
Who's Live solves this problem. Who's Live is to live streaming what the TV Guide was to television. It is the ultimate hub for live entertainment, connecting users and content. Who's Live initially went to market with viewers paying for access, and this proved successful. However, paid growth alone does not assure sustainable growth. We've identified 4 integrated strategies to help Who's Live scale sustainably. Our first and foundational strategy is simple: maximize organic growth through search optimization. This solution supports an 8 to 12% month-over-month organic user growth by capturing high-intent search demand. Because search traffic carries intent, it converts at a higher rate. This ensures customer acquisition costs remain under $1.60, and it increases revenue per user. This allows for efficient growth without excessive burn. When Who's Live optimizes search, it enables easy discovery. Competitors have scaled using this exact same model. Own discovery, not the content.
So Warren explained how we get them here. Now let's speak on retention. Right now, Who's Live has a retention rate of 65% with 6,000 monthly active users. We conducted a live focus group in collaboration with our Morgan State esports team and found two major things. One, they value the one-stop shop feature and the ability to personalize their content. Industry benchmarks showcase that strong discovery platforms get 25 to 40% of initial users to create accounts, and 15 to 25% is maintained with daily active users and monthly active users. To close this gap, we recommend establishing marketing strategies that increase daily retention habits through homepage personalization, opt-in smart notifications, and digest summaries that highlight what's live now for you. By analyzing behavioral data clicks, watch history, and saved creators, Who's Live can continuously refine recommendations and transition from a useful way to discover live content to a daily habit for its users. Without personalizations, users go elsewhere. With it, viewers become predictable, which helps increase monetization.
Now that we've addressed how users arrive and how we retain them, the third piece of our strategy is scaling growth through creators themselves. Creators aren't just content suppliers. They're powerful growth channels. Every time a creator goes live, they bring an audience with them. Think about Kai Cenat or iShowSpeed. Millions of fans want to know when they go live, but today they have to search through multiple platforms just to find them. Who's Live solves this by being the central hub for discovery. Our recommendation, turn creators into marketing partners. First, creators claim their Who's Live profile and gain access to performance insights. Second, we introduce live now shareable links that creators can place in their bios, Discords, or social media. Third, we integrate community tools like automated Discord notifications that alert fans when creators go live and guide them back to the platform. The result is a self-reinforcing growth loop. Creators bring audiences, audiences discover new creators, and Who's Live becomes the first place people go to see who's live right now.
Beyond creator partnerships, Who's Live is becoming the most trusted guide in personalized live stream discovery. From discovery comes engagement, from engagement comes retention. With our strategies, Who's Live can expect an increase and improvement in their 30-day user retention journey. By day 1, they can expect a 20 to 30% increase. By day 7, they can expect 8 to 15%, and by day 30, up to 8%. This shows that they will have a high initial interest, yet contain a steady community of loyal users. When users shape the platform, they become emotionally invested, which turns into daily usage habits. From there, revenue starts to increase. Who's Live can expect a customer acquisition cost of under $1.60, a lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio 6 to 12 times greater than month 1, and profitability all within 18 months. Who's Live just doesn't create experiences, they craft community. So,
Who's Live? You're live. Download the app today.
Great proposition. How are you guys planning to target the audience? Have you done market segmentation?
Sure. So it's a multifaceted approach, really. Primarily, we first decide we need to get viewers in by optimizing search. Once we get them there, we'll make them feel comfortable by building some daily habits. Our founders plan to make some changes on the back end to their functionality to allow people to sort of curate their own content, really just giving them ownership over that process, making them want to come back every day. So that's our plan to attract viewers to the... Sure.
Yes, so right now, the gaming world is so popular. Streamers are very popular. Even if they don't game, a lot of young men or people who work from home, they really are, they need a platform where they can just go and watch the people that they love live. So right now, it's gamers, people who work from home, people who are into esports. So, yeah.
About the revenue model that you guys have and how that's going to be impacted by the audience that you're attracting, or the way you're going to potentially split that with creators that are bringing you on.
I'm happy to take that one. So at the moment, Who's Live is very concerned with attracting users. So if you go on their site right now, which we encourage all of you to do, to download their app, they are not charging users to access their product. However, in the future, they do plan to. They'll introduce a 3-tier pricing structure. The lowest tier is $4.99 per month. The next will be $9.99 per month. And then there's a third tier, which is $49.99 per month, but it includes an analytics package, which lots of streamers are very interested in. Additionally, there are other strategies that our founders plan to use. So ads, selling those, of course, premium subscriptions that I just talked about, utilizing a live marketplace, promoting streams, and, of course, the analytics piece that I just mentioned.
All right, for my friends pitching and my judges, this will be blue when it's on, just so you know. All right, this has been fun. I always enjoy this event. I actually learn a lot at this event every year, too, because contrary to popular belief, I don't have a business degree. So I appreciate you guys teaching me about all of these scaling strategies, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Up next is a team very dear to my heart, our own Loyola team. We're very excited to have them pitching for Amber Bonner with Zokio. And as soon as they are ready, I will let them take over.
Good afternoon. By the show of hands, how many of you have dealt with a toddler before? Okay, so you had this experience. You set your toddler on the potty. You turn your back for a few seconds, and then when you turn back around, there's toilet paper everywhere, in their hand, on the floor, in the toilet, wrapped all around them. Now, take that same experience and put it into a child care center. Toilet paper's going fast. Pipes are clogged, and teachers, they spending more time in the bathroom than actually teaching, adding stress and anxiety. That is the problem that we're focused on. Meet Zokio. Zokio is an automatic toilet paper dispenser made for child care centers. When a child waves their hand, Zokio gives them 4 squares per sheet up to 3 times. After the third wave, it pauses for a minute so the child won't go over. Zokio also plays a cool song for the child. It teaches the child how to flush the potty, put the lid down, but also wash their hands. Zokio saves time, stress, and money.
Zokio is founded by Amber Bonner, entrepreneur, product developer, mother, who has dealt with the woes of potty training. She understands that a problem exists, and she has tasked us with developing a strategy that reinforces operational readiness while also making sure that we're scaling into a B2B segment responsibly. Let's take a look at our 18-month scaling roadmap that's divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 is about validation through pilot programs, engaging operational readiness. So in phase 1, we're going to be reaching out to child care centers in Louisiana and run pilot programs where we collect usage data on toilet paper usage, as well as staff labor dollars and impact on maintenance in plumbing repairs. After this, we're also going to have our injection molding tooling completed in phase 1, so that it will be ready for launch. In phase 2, we're looking at controlled growth. So phase 2 is where we're going to hire a sales representative to start really ramping up our B2B output, as well as finalizing the systems that we need for scaling. Phase 3, we're looking at repeatable growth. How do we take this and then do it again and again? So we're going to start targeting child care centers that have multiple locations so that we can start handling bigger contracts. This is another point where we're going to be stress testing operations on Zokio's level to make sure that we know we're ready to enter different segments in B2B. Sorry, I forgot to uncover that for you. And finish up some more systems implementation as far as standard operating procedures for repair and maintenance and finalizing supply chain logistics. So let's take a look at our sales strategy that relies on 3 key pillars. The first is B2B marketing. We'll be reaching out to decision makers in childcare centers, and we're going to make sure that the messaging is clear. Return on investment, and how can Zokio help you work on your operational and improve your operational efficiency. Step 2 is network engagement. Amber has already pitched at the Swiss Tech stage at CES this year and did such a fantastic job that they've invited her to be an exhibitor at CES 2027, where she will have thousands of people laying their eyes on Zokio. We believe that being present in these ecosystems is how we're going to generate high-intent leads. The third and final pillar is our pilot program marketing, where we're going to take the data that we've done in our case studies with the pilot program and use this to create strong outbound messaging whenever we're pursuing other clients in the B2B segment. Next, let's take a look at our market opportunity.
There are 96,000 childcare centers in the U.S., and 15,000 of them are in the Southeast region alone. At a 5% market penetration rate, Zokio could be in 750 childcare centers in just 18 months. Looking at their financial roadmap, we can see it starts lower in the first quarter, since that is when the pilot programs will be taking place. But as the referrals grow and the data proves Zokio's efficiency, we can see an average of 40% revenue increase per quarter. Our current cost of acquisition is $153 per care center, $51 per unit, and our target goal is less than 110. Our strategy to reduce is our pilot program. It will initiate shorter sales cycles, higher closing rates. Along with that, we will specifically target multi-center deals so that we can multiply our sales per center. Currently, Zokio is founder, operated, and led with Amber and Michelle. Thank you.
Good job. Are you going to be charging your pilot childcare centers to be in the program?
So we're working with Michelle, that's Amber's co-founder, on ironing out the exact details because she's going to be the lead on the pilot program design. But we do plan on offering it, if not free, at a very steeply discounted rate, because we want to take this opportunity to really use it for data collection so that we can have this market-tested data for when we're ready to approach VC.
So from a staffing perspective, to grow for the scale you have here, do you believe that you can get there with just one person, or do you have a larger staffing and operations plan?
As far as for this roadmap, or? Yeah, so the thing that we want to focus on with this roadmap is that we want to make sure we're scaling responsibly, because we know that once this hits the market, because it's such a differentiated product and nothing like this exists, we want to make sure we'll be able to handle the demand. So we are going to have, I do think that this group of people will be able to handle it, because it also includes the contracted partners that we're employing for like marketing, inventory management, manufacturing. So we're taking a lot off of the founders' plates, and we're helping support the sales rep and then get those organic leads so that past the 18 months we'll be ready to really grow base as far as staff goes and scale even more. Yes, we actually have 4 patents for this technology.
Can you just walk me through the durability of the product? Because it's really cute.
It's a hard plastic.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know you were talking about injection molding and then also potentially decreasing your cost of acquisition as a result of the injection molding process, but I just want to make sure that durability is going to be considered throughout.
Yes. What is the cost? This is going to be $88.63 per unit. To make right now. But of course, when we start ordering in larger batches, that cost per unit is going to be reduced. Direct to consumer, it'll be $199, and then direct to business, it's going to be $299. But we do have scaling price tiers for businesses where if they order in bulk, it'll be a lower price point with every additional X units that they order.
Excellent stuff. I have potty trained 2 toddlers, and I know how that goes. Get through the appendix. Great appendix. Awesome. All right. Thank you, team. Always love when we have visuals and get to touch and feel on the stuff that we're pitching here. So good work. I think Farrah's grabbing the last couple scores here. Like I was saying earlier, we have a really killer group of founders here, a couple of which I was very excited to actually meet at the Startup North Shore pitch back in January, including this one that is pitching next with Gene Billingsley and Inservice. And our friends from next door at Tulane will be up next to pitch. So once Farrah's got these scores, I can hand the mics to you guys. Oh, you guys already got mics. Yes. Just a moment. You guys can come on up. But like I said about this program, with all these schools, we get to meet all sorts of new friends, but then we also get our friends from next door. Check that out. So, who's got the button? Sweet. All right. I will let you guys take it. Thank you, guys.
Every day, a police officer pulls someone over. They run a check, write a citation, file a report, log evidence, and eventually refer a case to the DA. Each of these steps involves a different system, or even worse, on paper. Data gets lost, cases get dropped, justice gets delayed. Multiply that by 18,000 law enforcement agencies across the United States. And that's why we're here to talk to you today about Inservice, a comprehensive record management system for law enforcement. Hi, everyone. Marissa Yepes, Tulane MBA, joined by my fellow colleagues, Haley Lassiter and Scott Dean. And we've partnered with Gene Billingsley, CEO and founder of Inservice. So what's the problem? Law enforcement officers spend 30 to 50% of their shift time on manual data entry across disconnected systems. This leads to officer burnout, delayed reporting, compromised investigations, and costly overtime. Agencies lose $500 million annually due to bad reporting. This administrative burden prevents officers from focusing on what matters most, protecting and serving our communities. Haley will now present the Inservice solution.
Thank you. So Inservice is an all-in-one records management platform for law enforcement. It integrates computer-aided dispatch, e-citations, warrants, evidence, and jail management into simple web applications that officers can access via a desktop, laptop, or mobile device. This platform enables real-time data entry and storage, provides affordable solutions for smaller agencies that often lack an electronic RMS, and is fully compliant with the National Incident-Based Reporting System required by the FBI. To develop a scale-up strategy for Inservice, we evaluated 4 key areas: production, inventory, sales, and marketing. Starting with production, Inservice's only physical component is their e-citation printers in the patrol vehicles. These printers are currently manufactured by an external supplier and are well received by our current clients, thus production does not limit growth. For inventory, our primary resource is cloud storage. Since cloud storage is inexpensive, scalable, and essentially unlimited, this also does not create a constraint. For sales, we have developed an expansion plan into the Southeast United States, and for marketing, we recommend building a digital strategy from the ground up. Since production and inventory are solid, our plan focuses on sales and marketing where there's the greatest potential for growth. Our current sales targets are Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas, but we believe that Inservice can capture up to 675 agencies across the Southeast, representing about $10 million in annual revenue potential. Our sales strategy is land and then expand. Land with whichever program alleviates the agency's greatest pain point, and later expand into additional modules that will deliver the full platform. Currently, their marketing strategy exclusively relies on trade shows. They're great at relationship building, but they're extremely costly and result in relatively few leads. Thus, their customer acquisition cost is $4,000 a client. To improve this, Inservice should apply a digital marketing strategy by first improving and optimizing their website for search engines, using tools like Google Ads and Analytics to increase their online visibility, establishing a LinkedIn presence to build brand awareness and credibility, and utilizing social platforms like Facebook to reach their audience more effectively. By expanding their digital presence, we believe they can reduce their acquisition cost by 100-fold. To improve operations, Inservice should create standard operating procedures, brochures, user guides, and an ISO-compliant quality management system that will allow for faster onboarding, less troubleshooting, and happier officers. To make this a reality, they should focus on hiring 1 to 2 sales managers and 1 marketing consultant over the next 6 to 12 months. And now Scott will take you through the financials.
So through targeting specifically these trade shows, Inservice will see a slow and steady growth, but we think if they employ our plan, that they will see exponential growth. So with their current, or going at their current pace, they're projected to make about $135,000 by the end of month 18. But going with our strategy, you see that they will increase their profit by 400% and get up to 1.4 million by the end of year 2. Inservice, reclaiming time, protecting communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Municipalities and governments are very difficult to sell into. You made some excellent points, but how are you actually going to penetrate the bureaucracy and status quo approach that the governments have on a daily basis?
Yeah, very difficult. Our founder, Jean, has actually spent 3.5 years in the field working, riding in patrol cars, working with officers, understanding their pain points, and that's all been integrated into the Inservice platform. They currently do have 5 clients, 5 agencies that have started with a simple e-citation software, but then have actually expanded into other modules because they see how much relief they get in their daily operations. The trade shows will continue along with the digital marketing strategy, so those also help build relationships because the trade shows are actually hosted by sheriff's departments locally, so he's getting face-to-face interaction with the individuals that would be adopting the programs. One more point. It's also very low cost compared to competitors, which helps penetrate the smaller agencies because it's less of a burden to adopt the program.
Thank you all so much. My question is more around cybersecurity. Is there anything that you all have within the software that combats hackers, et cetera, from obtaining the software and all that data that is going to be stored?
Of course. So it is obviously on the cloud, but it's private servers. So nobody's data is going to be stored with other people's data. No clients are going to have access to other people's clients. It is the ownership of the access of the program is by department, localized.
Mine's quick. Have you been able to just basically identify who's making these purchase decisions on behalf of sheriff's departments and police departments? Do they go out for bid, or are they making purchasing decisions right now, or are they using software that's already embedded in their systems? Have you done any research into that?
So some are already using softwares. We're targeting specifically smaller agencies that are still on paper. The biggest reason that they're going to convert to the software is the fact that the federal government is requiring them to be compliant with the National Incident-Based Reporting System, and this platform is the easiest way for them to do that almost instantly. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's swap. Yeah, take the bow. Thanks. I'll take that one. Thanks. Great appendix. All right, once Farrah wraps up there. I spoke to this team earlier, and I was deeply impressed by their dedication to this pitch because they are wearing purple, and they go to Alabama. So, roll Tide and all that. But I deeply appreciate it. Up next, we've got, that's where we go. Up next, we've got the University of Alabama pitching for Sinko Labs, and I'll let them take over from here.
Test.
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 Every 90 minutes, Louisiana loses a football field of land. That land is not empty space. Coastal erosion is threatening communities, infrastructure, and industry across the state. And our founders saw this opportunity to bring their patented technology to right here in Louisiana. Sinko Labs takes timber waste like sawdust and injects it below the surface. This revolutionizes the coastal restoration industry because not only can they uplift the coast to stop erosion, but they can also take that carbon waste and lock it in the ground forever. And our founders chose Louisiana as the right place to bring their innovation.
Already, Sinko runs lean operations, but current projects only utilize 3% of their operating capacity. This creates a significant opportunity for growth without requiring a major investment. So with a strong demand, unlike competitors, our company runs on a dual revenue system. We combined of carbon credits and coastal restoration contracts. And with a strong demand in the carbon market, our strategy focuses on entering the coastal restoration market, targeting specifically government-funded contracts as our customer. However, to capture these opportunities, we know we need to address 3 critical roadblocks. First, Sinko leans on cold outreach to acquire their customers. And like any new business, Sinko struggles with brand recognition. And currently, Sinko is limited to 10 acres of workable area. So with these in mind, we recommend 3 key actions to target these roadblocks. First, we will establish access to Louisiana contracts. We will engage the industry at a national conference and expand permitting footprint to scale project opportunities.
So first, we connected Sinko to CTAC, the only in-state coastal restoration marketplace in Louisiana. And we did this in order to generate high-quality leads. Through this, to maintain these leads, we implemented an automated CRM system called HubSpot. And through this, we are going to directly decrease the customer cost of acquisition. Next, we registered Sinko for the Western Dredging Association Conference. This is where regulators, contractors, and decision makers all convene, and Sinko will be attending this summer to demonstrate their technology directly to over 900 attendees, while staff and employee will be able to benefit from training and networking development. Next, we know that Sinko needs to increase their permitting so that they can expand their geographical area, and so to do this, we recommend pursuing vendor certifications through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Vendor certifications provide credibility, and they enable Sinko to participate in government-funded coastal restoration projects.
Altogether.
And while permits only cost $5,000, this is a low-cost step that is able to increase market access.
Altogether, our strategy of establish, engage, and expand create a pathway for Sinko to scale in the coastal restoration market while also unlocking carbon sales. Over 18 months, our strategy costs less than $65,000, but has a revenue impact of over 100% and increases our profit margin by 12%.
That 12% increase in profit margin is driven by operational leverage. As Sinko takes on new projects, operational utilization increases to over 20%. And then by that point, Sinko will be able to not have to make any additional hires. With those changes, we forecast that Sinko's revenue will reach over $5 million in the next 18 months. Sinko has received initial grants from both Shell and Breakthrough Energy to help fund this strategy. Sinko will capitalize on growing demand for coastal restoration projects, which will allow them to have higher revenues and increased profitability. And this will also allow them to have increased growth. This 36-month outline shows how Sinko grows to scales to over $17.5 million while keeping costs minimal at only $224,000.
Sinko has a clear and actionable path to scale, and our strategy powers a process that restores coastlines, reduces carbon, and enables long-term economic growth. And we're asking you to help us bring this solution where it's needed the most, right here in Louisiana. Thank you.
So, am I reading that right? 3% utilization?
Yes, that is what they're currently at.
I don't understand.
So it's because they're currently in the pilot stage.
Okay.
And so their first pilot is 10 acres. They can do an acre a day, so that means their total utilization right now is one vessel for 365 acres would be 100%.
And then throughout the timeline of our strategy, Olivia, if you want to pull up our model. So our growth is built on scaling our permitted acreage and then using those projects to do more and more over time. So our current utilization in their pilot stage is 10 acres. And through our growth, we're projecting that our project size is going to grow by 20%. So we'll do 10 acres, then 12, then 14, then 17, all throughout as we continue to finish development of R&D and get more and more trust from the industry. We'll be able to subcontract out larger projects across the timeline of our strategy and hit those higher utilization numbers. So currently we have a team of scientists, and our founder VG's in the audience too. And we also have operators from the state that will help us actually do the operations into the ground. And currently over that time, we're not expecting to need more operators because our projects will be segmented by quarter and we won't hit that operational capacity number at all. So it's mainly just our administrative staff as well as those physical operators.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, you know, this is a very new company, and they have very high barriers to enter the market. This is a very established market with dredge and fill companies, so we really wanted to focus on building these relationships and providing quality over, massive quantity of utilization. So that's also why our utilization is the way it is, so that we can continue to use our resource and make that quality connection with those companies.
Yes, ma'am. So as we know, the government is pretty slow to let you do things. However, with coastal restoration, they're not. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is going to be our main permitting body, and they partner with both the state and federal government to fund coastal restoration efforts throughout the country, and Louisiana is definitely the center of that, as we all know. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has steps and permits that they give out to small businesses in order to standardize their permitting process and make it easier to acquire permits over and over again.
So many great appendices. There we go. Awesome. All right. I did not do this on purpose, but I just now realized that all three of our SEC teams are back-to-back to end the afternoon. Did not do that on purpose, but excited to see what we've got because there's always some friendly competition between all of these folks. So once Farrah's got those scores, yeah. I did not do that on purpose. I did get my master's from LSU, so go Tigers. And actually, the Tigers are up next. So you guys can come on up. I'll get you all situated so that as soon as we have those last scores, we can get started. We're running a couple minutes behind. I apologize, friends.
Since we have all arrived in New Orleans on Thursday, Louisiana has lost roughly 56 football fields worth of coastline. This puts over $150 billion worth of critical energy and defense infrastructure at risk. The reality is our coastline is more vulnerable today than it was the day before Katrina hit. But we're also facing a funding crisis. 75% of the coastal restoration budget is projected to collapse within the next 5 to 6 years. We cannot continue relying on billion-dollar outdated concrete projects that move too slow and cost too much. We have to work with the water, not against it. So the question isn't whether or not we need protection. It's how do we fund and scale it sustainably. That's why we're here with Reef Buds, to stop the bleed and turn this economic crisis into a solution.
Reef Buds is a nature-based approach to coastal protection. Instead of building those massive concrete structures, Reef Buds are small, deployable units that can be dropped from a boat. They're made from abundant agricultural and waste materials, which makes them dramatically cheaper to produce and transport and easy to deploy at scale. But what makes Reef Buds powerful is that it doesn't just protect our coastline from eroding, it actively restores it throughout the process. Within only 72 hours of deployment, plant and marine life begin to colonize the reef bud structure. This growth goes on to form a living reef that stabilizes the sediment around it, reduces wave energy, and captures carbon. And unlike our business competitors who struggle to prove impact, Reef Buds produces measurable, data-ready outcomes that align directly with grant and restoration funding.
For Reef Buds, our beachhead market is in Louisiana and Mississippi, where we plan on targeting grant-aligned NGOs and state restoration programs for early pilot deployment. Once these pilots are validated, we plan to expand to the broader Gulf Coast states in Alabama, Florida, and Texas. To support this market entry strategy, we plan to expand. We're actively working with Gulf Blue and the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and we're targeting partners in collaboration with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Now, how will this plan go into effect? Our 18-month roadmap plan moves from execution to scaling. In Phase 1, we have baseline targets already in effect, and we'll hire additional data support to then fund our LED innovation funding and our NOAA Sea Grant application. From there, we'll move to our initial deployment of 200 to 300 units split between CCA Louisiana and Gulf Blue Navigator Mississippi. Phase 2, we move to validation. By using impact data, we convert early projects to multi-year contracts, maintaining a low cost of acquisition. From there, we'll deploy our second wave of units. From there, we scale. This is where we win large state and NOAA projects to then unlock the SBIR Phase 2 pathway, allowing us to export this proven model across the Gulf Coast and beyond.
So you guys might be wondering, how are we going to fund Luke's beautiful 18-month roadmap? Well, we're going to lock down $500,000 to $700,000 in non-dilutive capital through these three strategic tiers. First, we're going to go for the primary funding, which is going to be through the LED SBCCI funding. This is going to help us out with the early development and the two first pilot deployments, right? Then we're going to go for our expansion funding. We're going to do this through following up through a NOAA Sea Grant. For our third and final, which is research and development, this we're going to do following up on the SBIR strategy. Through this, we're going to be able to focus on future technologies and also implement sensors into our current structures. Following these three pillar strategies, we're going to be able to unlock the high margin, scalable revenue engine.
The financial engine is operating leverage. Capital doesn't create value, margins do. That's why we project $675,000 to $1.15 million over the next 18 to 24 months. Our revenue moves from pilots and deployments to high margin contracts up to where we will have our scale break, which is through NOAA and multi-state contracts that drive our revenue past the $1 million mark. Cost of goods sold is $75 to $150, and it sells at $250 plus per unit, maintaining margins between 50 to 80%. As we scale up to 50 to 10,000 units, this is where we will be able to drive EBITDA up to 30% and also have our fixed costs stabilized, building a multi-million-dollar program that is also repeatable, driving margins to 90% between years 2 and 3.
The science is proven. Now we're focused on the economics. With $500,000 to $700,000 in non-dilutive funding, we're able to scale across the Gulf South with our partners. With up to 80% gross margins, Reef Buds is the perfect model built to thrive even as traditional coastal budgets tighten. That is how we turn this global crisis into a sustainable future. Thank you.
So, good job. What makes you think that the SSBCI capital is non-dilutive?
That is, I'll go back to the slide. So we're using the LED, which I have actually worked and talked to people at LED. And when I implemented this plan with them, they say using the SSBCI for non-dilutive capital, like the LSCP, Louisiana Sea Capital Program, is the best way for us to approach this first developmental plan, only based off of the one-on-one match, where our contracts, which are cluster contracts, CCA, and Gulf Blue, those contract models of revenue that are already put in will then be matched by the state.
All right, so you have that revenue now? The company has that revenue?
Yes, with Gulf Blue, yes.
Yeah, okay.
CCA is in the works.
Okay, thank you.
Between your initial deployment and then the move to scale, obviously the data that's provided, the impact data, how is that impact data going to compare to other solutions when the grant writers or the grant funders see it?
Yeah, so absolutely. We're actually in a beautiful position in that manner. So Reef Buds actually it launched 20 years ago in the Philippines. So there's over 11,000 units deployed there on some of the most famous tourist beaches. And all of that data is actually readily available. And the only reason it's here just now is that our CEO, Johnny James, acquired the licensing only a year and a half ago. So things are in the works, but with that much data from the Philippines in our hands, we're in a beautiful position to scale.
And if I could add on to that, there's like one main competitor that comes to mind when talking about Louisiana specifically, and we believe that they are actually scared to share their data with others because we've done extensive research into like their marketing campaigns, and nobody markets that plant growth happens within 72 hours. Like with a lot of those other brands, like it may be weeks or months.
Thank you all.
Awesome. All right, while we wrap up the scores real quick, just a friendly reminder. Right after we're done here, we've got some food and beverage next door. Join us for a little reception afterwards while the judges and myself go over the scores and figure out who gets one of these giant checks over here that's hiding behind this thing. My fantastic intern Remy earlier saw me unbox those checks and was like, oh, shoot, you guys actually do the big checks. Yes, that is my favorite part of my job, is ordering those giant checks. So, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. On that note, looks like the judges have got their scores ready, and Auburn has their mics, and I will hand you the clicker.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, for our last pitch, we've got Auburn pitching for Harmonic Biosciences. I'll let them take it.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are Auburn University in partnership with Harmonic Biosciences, and today we'll share with you our pitch-up strategy. My name is Courtney Brush, this is Jarrett Preisel, and this is Georgia Hare. So across healthcare, hormone monitoring has been slow, expensive, and extremely reactive. Intermittent blood tests miss key hormone fluctuations, providing just a snapshot in time, which leads to delayed insights as well as a high burden and cost, not only on patients but for physicians. Medicine has advanced, but the way we monitor hormones has not. A great example of this is continuous glucose monitoring, which has revolutionized diabetes health. Hormones are quite literally the next frontier. So meet Harmonic, the first continuous hormone intelligence platform. It's worn on the skin, just like a glucose monitor, measuring hormones in real time. Patients and physicians can read those hormone fluctuations on a very simple to read dashboard. And it eliminates those occasional lab tests into continuous hormone monitoring. So when Harmonic first developed the technology, they were heavily focused on women's health, specifically IVF and menopause monitoring. But when we were introduced to the technology, we saw a massive opportunity. So we expanded our market research to include not only women's health, but men's health, as well as animal health. And it became extremely clear to us that all three of these markets have substantial market growth and improvement. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Jarrett to talk about our roadmap.
Thank you, Courtney. To identify our beachhead opportunity, we conducted a market analysis which produced a matrix based upon the technical likelihood of success as well as the commercial attractiveness. Through this matrix, we identified the bovine market as a growth opportunity for Harmonic. Within the bovine market, there is no required FDA approval, and in addition, there is an increasing beef and milk production throughout the world, especially in the United States. Through this allows Harmonic to have a proof of concept, revenue, and liquidity that is required for the expansion into the human market. In our execution timeline, we will start immediately with our USDA animal pre-production grants, as well as procuring inventory warehousing, all while starting our FDA process for our future expansion into those human markets. In addition, we'll hire an animal sales representative and continue our device production, allowing us in year 2 to start our active animal accounts with a minimum of 8, but 18 anticipated accounts. Through that data, we will leverage those into 3 research use only human accounts in the future. For our cost of implementation, we have $26,000 for our FDA approval, $60,000 for our device production, $75,000 for our animal representative salary, and $99,000 for our warehousing, bring our total cost of implementation to $260,000. Now I'll pass it to Georgia for our financials.
Thanks, Jarrett. The unit economics are strong. We are selling our cycle package for $100 with a cost of goods sold at $30, and that brings us to a contribution of 70% in gross margin. Our profit model includes a lean team, also contracted manufacturing, so that gives us a projected 30% EBITDA at scale. Our first revenue on this ramp is bovine, and it quickly transforms into recurring revenue through replacements. And as Jarrett mentioned, we're aiming to have 18 enterprise accounts and a very steady, very healthy margin. And that is what will fund our IVF journey, with already 13 LOIs signed. And here's a quick look at our 5-year plan. We are really hopeful and very confident to have $251 million at year 5. And this is an expansion across 3 different verticals in multiple markets. We're in a current pre-seed funding stage and supported by U.S. grants, friends and family, angel investors, as well as competition capital like this. In conclusion, hormones shape nearly every stage of life, yet still here we are, measuring them in snapshots. So when Harmonic has this distinct opportunity, they're taking advantage of it. It's really a possibility in changing the landscape of human biology. When hormones can be continually monitored, the possibilities are endless. Thank you.
Great job, guys. With regards to moving into bovine, which is going to be your opening, what are the requirements on the software side for looking at the results from a herd of cattle versus the results from my own patch?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that question. The device looks very similar across bovine into human as well. The same technology and software will be applicable, as well as the platform that we are based around. So the transition from bovine to human will be very simplistic, as well as keeping those margin and cost relatively the same.
It'll be B2B. I'm sorry?
Yes. So for our B2B strategy, specifically in the bovine region, we are looking to target those large corporations that produce lots of head of cattle. So therefore, we could have a herding strategy where they could implement only a 10% herding and make broad characteristics for the rest of their female cattle. That is why we like to implement our animal sales representative, who will have a veterinary sales background specifically in those regions, so that we can make sure we're having a high retention rate in those customers and producing LOIs and ultimately those revenue and sales on top.
Thanks, Jared. And I'll just add to that, IVF clinics are our secondary client in the on-ramp to the 18-month ramp-up. So that is another connection that we have with those 13 LOIs with clinicians.
If I own 100 head of cattle and I implement your program, Harmonic, what is my return on investment? What can go wrong with those cattle if I don't, and what goes better if I do?
So obviously, when it comes to 100 herd of cattle, if we're having a herding strategy and a herding pricing model, we're only chipping about 10%. So that 10% is making the Vrost decisions for the rest of that group. There obviously can be different outcomes, but ultimately, it will allow us to have a better retention for reproduction, allowing for more accurate timing when it comes to the heat cycles for the cows, and therefore can minimize the costs associated with unsuccessful impregnatation of those animals, which then would also boost beef and milk products, whatever those large corporations are producing.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna let my judges finish up. That was great. I'm sorry. I am so impressed by all these teams today. I know all of them have been working. Yeah, give everybody a round of applause, please. Yeah, please. I know everybody has been working really hard for the last 6 weeks. We also maybe partied a little too hard this weekend as well. So we're glad to have this program wrapped up this year with such a successful group of teams. Here's how the rest of this is going to work. I'm going to let our judges go next door first to eat first because we're going to have to probably have a little conversation in here. Just to make sure that we're all on the same page with those scores. Once those judges get something to eat, actually, once they're out the door, I will let you guys can all go wrap up out there as well. I had my button somewhere because there's a slide that has instructions on it. Where's my button? All the appendices are so great. I always forget about the appendices. I'm going to keep pushing buttons until I get there. No, you're good. It's excellent. I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm still going. There we go. All right, that was excellent. Nice little break. Please laugh at me. That's fun. That's it. That's all we got. I think all our judges agree. I want to do a big thank you to our 6 judges that are down here out front. They did a great job. I want to say a big thank you again to our friends at GNO Inc. who helped us put on that tour yesterday that all our friends had a good time at. And a big thank you to my team as well with Miss Farah and Remy and Nicole wherever she went somewhere, and Miss Kirsten up here too as well. We could not do events like this without the amazing team that we have built here at the center, and I deeply appreciate all of y'all. All right, judges, go grab something to eat and something to drink, and then once they're out the door, everybody else can go. We'll be back here in about 15 minutes with some giant checks to hand out. Y'all hang tight. Thank you.
let me do whatever I need to do.
Are you staying for the rest of New Orleans River Week?
No.
No, that's good. Is it? They can't figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, no, this one just being some Chinese brand that doesn't have anything. Yeah. No. All right. I'll let our judges finish their conversation. I'm sorry. They're just having a good time. That's my bad. Okay. We're on time pretty much, so that's excellent. It's been a busy Noe week already. It's only Tuesday. There were 5 or 6 events going on today. I should know how many there were, but my brain doesn't work today. So huge thanks again to everybody that's here today. A big thanks to all 10 of our MBA teams that either came in from out of town or came from across the lake or came from across the street or came from upstairs. Really excited to have all of y'all here. This program is, as I was explaining to our Dean Bobby a little bit ago, I really like this program because it really just builds this community here. It works to bring all this great talent from out of our city into our city to help lift all of us up. And that's the whole goal with Noe this year especially, is to build our community, and all rising tide lifts all boats, right? So a big thank you again to all of our MBA students. And also an enormous thank you to all of our founders. It is really hard to let go of something that you have built and to hand it off to some of these students who don't know much about what you are doing. You've never met these people before. They might live all the way across the country. They might not even be from, they might be from somewhere that you've never been to, right? And to hand that off and be a trooper about it and to be open to it and to help them help you is a challenge. And so I appreciate all of y'all. And again, a big round of applause to all of our founders. Thank you guys. As always with these programs, it's never easy with the scoring. We had a 3-way tie for our runners-up, so that's fun. It's supposed to be easy with this one. There's a score for this one. The other one, we don't do scores. I'm going to start with our runners-up. This was a very difficult conversation, and I once again thank you to our judges for being so awesome and being so in the zone on all this. This one's, that's first place. Oh, I almost started from the other side. That would have been good. Cool. All right. So our first runner-up is the University of Alabama and Sinko Labs. Once again, the giant checks are my favorite part of my job. So that one is you guys. And is Vijay here? I thought I saw him a second ago. Vijay had to duck. So, all right. So you guys get to hold 2 giant checks, and I'll come stand over here with you. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Absolutely. And now I owe VG a call because he wasn't here to get his giant check. That's fine. That means it's mine now, just so y'all know. All right. Our next runner-up is Zokio and Loyola University New Orleans. Hey, congratulations. You want to grab that one, and then our team can grab that one. Yeah, come on over. I'll get on the end. You scoot over by the team. Yeah, you work. One step up, a little bit. Excellent. Thanks, Frank. Congratulations, y'all. So we give out about $33,000 with this program. Those runners-up, they got $2K as founders and $1,500 between the teams that they get to split how they like. And our first-place team gets $20K for that founder to go apply that strategy that they developed, and then $5,000 for that university team. It's a lot of fun money that we get to hand out, and I love getting to do it. And I love getting to do it to a team 3 times in a row. Congratulations to Loyola Marymount. I am going to steal your faculty member and he is going to come work for me so we can start winning this competition. Congratulations to Loyola Marymount and Autodive for winning this year's IDEAcorps competition. An excellent competition. And a huge thank you again to all of our teams this year that were a part of all of this. I know it was a very difficult conversation with the judges, and it was very fun as well. Somebody take these checks, please. I'll come on this side. I'll come over here. Yeah.
One step up.
Awesome. I assure you the oysters didn't have anything to do with it. Thank you, guys. Congratulations. That's IDEAcorps for 2026. Hope to see some of y'all at the NOE Summit here on campus on Thursday and Friday. Have a great rest of your week. Yeah, right on. I don't know. I was going to say go Wolfpack, but this isn't my Wolfpack team. That's fine. Go Wolfpack anyway. Thanks, guys. Rock on. Can we get all the teams that won up front so we can take a picture? The Bama folks and the Loyola team.
Are y'all ready? 1, 2.